Hello everyone, this is Kyle at Mill Street Gardens, and as you can see, it's a beautiful fall day behind me. And today I want to share with you some of the first steps we take in overwintering our perennials. So is it true? Do garden stores throw all their plants in the garbage at the end of the year? Well, I can't speak for all plant stores or all big box stores, anywhere that sells plants, but I can show you what we do here. And we do have a lot of plants left over. We've sold a lot of plants, but it doesn't bother me that we have so many plants. I mean, it would be nice that if they were all sold, but having a lot of plants left over gives us a lot of variety for next year. So we have lots of options left over. They'll overwinter and become even bigger and better plants next year. And it gives us an opportunity to order more plants to have an even bigger and better selection for next year. And one other random thought I just had was we're always making new plants. So after our busy season, we start taking cuttings, growing stuff from seed or dividing. So the overwintering process is a necessary evil because it takes the plant more than a year to develop into a sellable size plant. So it's just something that we have to do. So here is our first steps. Okay, so the first thing I do is I cut the plants back. As you can see, I got some examples started. Here I have a Coreopsis rosea. So all I'm going to do is cut it as close as I can and remove as much of the material as I can from the pot. I did a really bad job with that because it's hard to do it with one hand. But if it's a plant that dies back to the ground and doesn't have semi-evergreen foliage, meaning that it doesn't hold on to its foliage, like for example over here we have these Shasta daisies that has foliage for the whole winter, so you don't cut off the evergreen foliage. This doesn't, this Coreopsis right here. So I cut it back because we're going to put these in a hoop house and to overwinter, and if it's too humid, any of this dead material, because this will die, will start to get mold on it, and we don't want that to happen. So we remove as much of the material as possible. Here are some other examples of things I've chopped back. So we got some sedums here. This was a trailing sedum. I cut off all the trailing stuff, but I left the little rosettes on there because those will stay the whole winter. Same with these other sedums. Cut everything else except for those little evergreen rosettes. This I'm actually going to overwinter outside, so it doesn't matter as much because this is the mountain mint, but this foliage is kind of evergreen, so that got cut back into the foliage that is evergreen. This is our cranberries. This is an evergreen plant. Look how much it's grown. So this we're not going to do anything with, except for maybe cut it back for aesthetics. Here's an example of some plants that I cut back all the way down to the base. So these are the gay feathers, the peonies over here, I cut them all the way back down. So if you come visit us, this is why we have plants that look like this right now, because they were just, you know, they kind of are dormant, so they're just kind of sticks. This is our milkweed. The milkweed actually overwinter outside because it's super hardy. I don't have any issues with that coming back. Yeah, I was doing a lot of the plants out here first, but then I decided I should probably start with the plants inside the hoops, even though they're not as far ahead in terms of their leaf falling off because they're semi-protected. But I still wanted to have some plants for sale on the sales floor. So yeah, so then I'm just leaving them outside for as long as possible. Alright, so the reason why I'm going to leave them outside for as long as possible is because it's starting to get really cold at night, and where our water is in this building isn't heated. So, I mean, it might be next week. I might get 2 or 3 more weeks out before I have to turn the water off. But after that, if I have everything in the hoop house, it's not going to be able to get watered. So that's why I'm leaving everything where it is, and then that's why the plants I'm cutting back over here from this hoop house that I'm cleaning out today. I'm placing everything on the outside of this hoop house because I want them to still be able to get the elements until I finally tuck them in for the winter. Some other thoughts, you can check out our video where we changed the skin on our hoop house. The skin is a plastic, so we changed the plastic from the clear plastic to the white plastic during the overwintering process. And I usually do that around Thanksgiving, and it usually takes me a whole day. And the white plastic is really important because when the sun's rays hits the plastic, it won't warm up the hoop house as much as if it was clear. So we don't want the hoop house to actually warm up at all. We want the plants to stay as cold as they are outside, give or take a couple degrees, because we don't want the plants to wake up because that will ultimately kill them during the process of the winter. All right, so I'm going to take this giant mess inside this hoop house, and then I'm going to bring it all outside of this hoop house so it can still get rain and airflow and all that important stuff until it's time to tuck them in. One other important thing is labels. So once you chop a plant back or all the leaves fall off, you don't know what it is. You might know that it's a hydrangea, but do you know the difference between limelight hydrangea or pinky winky? They kind of look the same. So make sure everything's labeled before you put it away. And then something else to consider is keeping everything organized because it just makes it easier in the spring when it's time to pull everything back out. So as I'm doing this, I'm thinking about next year and where I place the plants, and I'm even thinking about like, okay, this part of the hoop house over here floods a little bit during the winter sometimes, so I'm going to put the plants back there that don't care if they get a little wet or whatever. So just lots of little things to think about during the overwintering process. Alright, so if you're a home gardener and you're watching this video and you're looking to overwinter some perennials and you want to be able to do it successfully in the pots, know that it is a little bit risky, but if the plant is hardy to your area, it should overwinter, and it's more likely to die from something like crown rot rather than the actual temperature. Or maybe another reason why the plant might die is that it dried out too much. So you can replicate this without a hoop house, but like do it in your garage or something. It's actually Halloween today, and it's been about a week since I've recorded the first part of this video. So before I close out, I just want to show you all the plants, what they look like out of the hoop house. The hoop house is virtually empty right now because we got everything over here. Everything that needed to be chopped back is chopped back now, and then a lot of leaves have fallen. So before we pack these up here in like the end of November, something I need to do is clean up all these leaves for things like mice don't have places to hide in. But that's the topic for our next video. Alright, so thank you for watching our video today. If you have any questions, whether it be about overwintering perennials in pots, whether you're a home gardener or whether you have your own nursery or you're thinking about starting up a nursery, feel free to leave the questions in the comment section below. I just know when I first started and I was starting to overwinter stuff, I was very confused, and now I know some things now that it's been a couple years. If you like this video, make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.